Brody!
Title.
What you doing, Jax?
Nothing.
Nothing. All right, y'all. I done a video on my gimbal that I have a while back, and I bought an intelligent tracking module for it. And not too long ago, my gimbal started malfunctioning on me, and I had to send it in for maintenance. Thank goodness it was under warranty because they replaced the whole thing. They gave me a new one. So I'm out here just testing this thing out, seeing if it actually works properly. And the joystick was giving me problems. You know, if I would try to manually move the gimbal with the joystick, it would start drifting up and down, doing wild stuff. But anyways, I just felt the need to restate my mission for this YouTube channel. And for anybody that's new here that wasn't aware of my life situation, my name is Carlos. I'm married to Mandy, and she has a spinal cord disability. She had a tumor in her spinal cord, and this was 10 years ago. She had surgery to resect the tumor, and the surgery, I guess, the surgery caused her disability. Otherwise, the tumor would have taken her life. So we are living a disabled life, and I work full time, and I have to come home at lunch and tend to her, and then go back to work. So my time is pretty tight, but I do have the same 24 hours y'all have, and I just have to make sure that I take the best advantage of my time as possible, and I'm not always good at that. So this is our life, and I try to make videos documenting that, and for the purpose of improving myself, gaining a new skill with learning how to talk on camera, operate a camera, editing videos, and just basically trying to, you know, get better speaking, just many skills all the way around with starting a YouTube channel. But anyways, today's Saturday, and we had the grandkids over. Her son has 3 children. The twin boys have autism, so they were stretched thin today. The girl, Lily, she was off at a rodeo, and her and her mom was doing that. Colton, he had tryouts today. He's the head coach for softball coming up, so he had to go to tryouts, and neither one of them could effectively watch over the boys while they were doing that. So we got the grand privilege of having the twin grandbabies over here. So spent the first few hours of the day with them. So now I got the rest of Saturday. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but thought about taking the cover off the old Harley. Man, I hadn't showed that thing no love in a while. So take the cover off the motorcycle and charge the battery. So that's something I'm going to do here in a few minutes. But anyway, it's been a while since I made a video. I figured I better get out here and do something, and try to let my audience know who I am, what I'm here for, and what my goal is. And that goal is to improve my life, improve my health, my spiritual health, physical health, mental health. And I got to live longer than Mandy because, you know, I'm her caregiver, and she don't want nobody but me wiping her butt and giving her showers. And, you know, I don't want her to have to worry about that either. So the ultimate goal is for me to live at least 1 second longer than her and be able to care for her that whole way through. So this is our life, this is our journey. So hopefully y'all stick around. I don't always do things when they need to be done, so I end up with a lot of things that need to be done all at once. So you losing me? Oh my goodness, this thing is nasty. Unfortunately, we've had a pretty decent winter this year here, and it hasn't been really good riding weather, although I could have ridden some, you know, throughout December and January, but you know, not a big fan of the cold, and I just didn't take the time to come out here and fire it up and ride it. So, you know, it kind of got pushed off to the back burner for a little while, but I do need to make sure the battery is charged up. Hopefully I hadn't let it go too long to where it's caused the battery to go bad. But yeah, I was considering maybe a 360 camera to possibly do some moto vlogging with, but I'm not sure the finance manager will sign off on those funds being appropriated toward more camera gear. Over this way over here is a Lee County flea market. There is some good people watching over there for sure. It's pretty much closed up for the day now. I don't know, it might not have a whole lot going on over there in the wintertime. Bet you my hair looks really good right now. Doesn't matter. Come up here to the Chattahoochee River. One of the spots where a lot of people come put their boat in and fish. It's right below a dam. And that's Bartlett Ferry Dam. Bartlett's Ferry, whatever. But I come up here a lot with my brothers and fish, walk up toward the dam. They used to come crappie fishing up here all the time. And my oldest brother really loved it. He would always talk about wanting to live up on the river. And when I was younger, I didn't quite get it. I like to be closer to town, you know, to where all the stuff was happening. But it didn't take long, and I figured out what he was talking about. It is being close to the waters. I don't know, peaceful, relaxing, nice. Unfortunately, it's really expensive in this area. Yeah, memories from when I was a kid. I'd come up here, I remember coming up here with my dad before him and Mama had a boat. You know, do a lot of bank fishing. And we'd come up here, just a place where you could access the river without having to trespass, and fish from the bank. There's another dam on down the river here. Maybe one day I'll go there, because it's a dirt road getting to that one, so I ain't gonna take my motorcycle down a dirt road. But I can't really see that dam. There's part of it over here, but it's a pretty big, majestic looking piece of architecture. But there's a trail through here. We used to walk up through here to get closer to the dam. So I figured I'd trek up it. I'd rather do it now while it's still in the winter time. But yeah, in this journey of trying to maintain or improve myself, I tend to lose track of other things in my life. And sometimes I can see it on Mandy. She just has this sad look about her. And most of the time she is. This has been, you know, a life-ruining event that happened. But sometimes she gets real low, and you know, sometimes she lifts herself up out of it. But I still need to consider her needs, and even her wants. You know, her mental health. You know, it's not just me, it's her too. So it's a lot for this little pea brain to keep track of, because once I start getting laser focused on something, it's like a bunch of other things fall to the wayside, and I start losing track of, you know, the chores around the house, you know, losing track of, you know, being attentive to her. You know, sometimes even when you're taking care of somebody, you can kind of halfway do it and not even realize it. You know, there needs to be love and compassion in your touch. Just how, you know, I have to put my hands on her to do a lot of stuff, and I need to make sure I'm doing that with compassion and kindness. You know, a gentle touch. You know, I want to transfer loving energy to her, not negative hostility. So these things are really important. And this is just life in general. This is how you should treat your loved one. It's not solely related to caring for a disabled person. You know, this is love and care in general. You should love your spouse always, in sickness and in health. So even in the good days, both of you are in good health and are, you know, healthy and capable. You should love each other the same way. There should be love and compassion in your touch, and be slow to anger. You know, I've learned that a lot over the last few years. You know, kind of stop and think about something and don't be so reactive. There could be a different reason for a situation. It's not always a conspiracy against you. Take a breath, maybe ask a question. maybe you or the one you're talking to, maybe repeat the statement. Make sure that it's communicated the way it was supposed to. Because I'd say a lot of disagreements, arguments, and fights is total miscommunication. Somebody didn't mean something the way that the other person took it. Whew. And there it is. We could get closer, but I think I'd be putting in a lot of work climbing up and down these rocks. Not so sure I want to do all that. Used to it. People used to be able to hang out up here as long as they wanted to, camp out or whatever. It was, dirt roads. Wasn't maintained very well. And we called them river rats. These folks that would just almost just live up on the river in a vehicle or a tent or whatever. Now this looks like where a gator would be hanging out, but I don't know. Try not to step off any mud. All these boat ramps up on the river, they fixed them up and they made it to where you can't hang out and basically live up there. So I guess keep out all the riffraff. But at one time, I was part of the riffraff that used to hang out at the river. When I was a teenager in high school, underage drinking and stuff. Cops didn't come up there. If they did, it was on a very rare occasion. But we used to go up to the river and party. Some places it was difficult to get to the places where we were hanging out at. You had to have a truck. Police cruiser would have a hard time getting to us. So, a lot of good times way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. And I'm standing in Alabama. Right across over there is Georgia. Roll Tide. Anyway, this little time right here is part of my mental unwinding, decompression, two-wheel therapy. It's been a while since I got out and done something like this. Come up here to the river and take a short trail walk. I'm gonna take it back to the bike, head on back home, and try to relax the last few hours of the evening. Maybe throw a pork steak on the grill. I don't know, I might. figured I'd cap the day off with a cold beer. I ain't drank hardly much of nothing in a while, and even when I do, it's not much. But you know, alcohol and dieting don't really go together, so I hadn't really done any of it, or you know, even had a beer or two. So I just been spending weeks and weeks not drinking at all. But I don't know. Today was a pretty good day. Spent time with the grandbabies. Went for a motorcycle ride and grilling up me something to eat. So I think I'll have me one, maybe two. I don't know.